Hey everyone, welcome back to Made in Japan, the channel where creativity meets life overseas. Today, I finally put some old tech to use and made this incredibly awesome compact wallet. I have been in IT for over 10 years now and I have the hardest time throwing tech away. Even if it's broken and not useful, it just feels like such a waste. I probably spent a lot of money on it, or I appreciate the work it's done for me over the last several years. So today we're diving into an epic DIY project that's going to turn some heads. I'm going to transform this old broken server CPU into a sleek, super slim wallet, just like the Ridge wallets you see everywhere. If you want more geeky tech accessories, make sure to hit that like and subscribe so you can catch my next project. Now, this CPU might look like just another piece of e-waste to most people, but we're going to breathe some new life into it and put it to good use. I've had this CPU lying around since I made these CPU cases a while ago. It's broken, outdated, and even if it did work, I don't have a system that could use it. But it's still too cool just to throw in the trash, right? I agree. The other day, I saw it on my desk, and that is when inspiration struck. I had just seen one of those ads for those super slim, sleek metal Ridge wallets. Minimalist and oh so stylish. And guess what? This CPU is the perfect size and shape to turn into one of those wallets. So let's dive in and make something truly unique. My first challenge is how to take this CPU apart. If you haven't lurked around OCZ, NNSec, or any of the other overclocking forums, you might not know what delidding is. A CPU is made of a few different parts, and they're not really supposed to be taken apart. On the underside of the CPU, we have the pins, or the pads. This is how the CPU connects to the rest of the computer. They're a little bit more robust than the internal components, so that technicians can install and replace CPUs easily. Then we have the PCB. This is the board that converts those pins or pads into the tiny little wires that connect to the actual CPU or the die. The die does all the calculations and is the real brains of the CPU. As electricity passes through, it gets very hot, and the die is very small and very delicate, so it needs a heat spreader. A heat spreader is glued or soldered on, and it both protects the die and creates a much larger base, so removing heat is easier. The process for removing the heat spreader is called delidding. Usually, overclockers will remove this to create custom coolers for better performance. A quick search on the internet doesn't provide very great results on how to remove this particular CPU's heat spreader. I guess that makes sense. I doubt anyone is overclocking their server CPUs, let alone creating a custom cooling setup for direct die cooling. The only video that I could find was this one. But let's give it a try. Worst case is we'll have another video about an amateur destroying an expensive CPU. To remove the lid, we need a custom tool. So let's try 3D printing one. I took the measurements and created a perfect base to hold the CPU. We will then add a nut and a bolt so that we can tighten it to apply pressure to the heat spreader. We have to get the CPU hot enough to melt the solder and weaken the glue. Then the bolt will just apply pressure. We want to apply pressure evenly to the heat spreader. And as it's very hot, a 3D print probably won't work. So let's use this aluminum plate that I had laying around. I knew it would come in handy someday. It won't melt and it's the perfect size. And we're done. Version 1 of my P-8100 delidder is finished. Fits like a glove. Let's heat up the CPU, drop it in there, and apply pressure. Well, it really would have been a miracle if it worked the first time. Time for V2. It looks like the CPU passed all the heat through to the plastic and it deformed. So let's add more plastic for strength and add another piece of metal to disperse the heat. Well, this doesn't seem to be working. And I'm a little impatient, so let's just force it on open. Looks like the heat spreader isn't soldered on, it's just glued. Not bad for my first time. Looks pretty good. It looks like the heat did help us remove the glue, so let's get to know for next time. Let's get this cleaned up and see how we want to make our wallet. This heat spreader is pretty thick and heavy, and the shape doesn't seem to work well for our purposes, so I think I'll leave it out of this build. I went ahead and delidded this other CPU. Let's go with this configuration. Step 1 cleared, on to challenge 2. How do we attach these bands? Looking closer at the ridge wallets, we can see that there is a base plate that gets screwed into a base plate that holds onto the bands. So let's make that. This'll be a breeze. I'm pretty good at Fusion 360. I'm pretty sure theirs are made out of aluminum or even stronger metals, but I only have the P1S, so we're gonna 3D print this one. A quick SketchUp and a print, and we're good to go. Hopefully it's strong enough. Challenge 2 cleared. Wait, what about the bands? This material looks like it's made out of polyester, so it should melt. Let's try using my soldering iron to weld it together. That should keep it pretty slim. Not bad. Let's do a quick strength test. Well, that didn't work. So let's do plan B. Let's sew it together. That's much better. Feels pretty strong and is still slim. Let's put the diaper onto the base plates and attach the CPUs. Another problem. The die is kind of in the way. Guess we'll have to remove that too? We could make the second base bigger and hollow out a space for the die, but that seems like a waste of space. So let's take a gamble. I'm gonna try removing the die. First, I tried cutting whatever this glue is, or grind it away. It looks like I got most of it out of the way, but there's still something holding it there. Probably solder. Let's heat it up again and try prying. With some hot hands and work, I finally got the die off. Not bad. I could probably use this die for something else. Now let's test it out in the base plates. Perfect. That slims it down a lot. I think this should be perfect. And this way, the plates are identical, so I only have to design the one and print it twice. Let's glue the CPUs in place. And it looks pretty good. Moment of truth, let's see how our wallet holds up. I got some cards here and fits perfectly. This is looking great. It's slim, stylish, and unique, just like I imagined. And there you have it, a one-of-a-kind wallet made from a server CPU. It's minimal, it's functional, and it's definitely a conversation starter. Plus, it's a great way to repurpose old tech. Who knew an old piece of tech could turn out to be something so stylish? Thanks for joining me on this DIY adventure. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Do you have any old tech lying around that you think you could repurpose? Drop your ideas in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching. Bye!